Good morning, sir.
Morning. So, Garima,
Yes, sir.
please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
That's great. You are from Sonipat.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, is this your first attempt?
No, sir. So this is my fifth attempt.
Fifth attempt?
Yes.
An interview?
So second time.
Second?
Yes, sir.
Oh, when did you appear before the board? Last year?
Yes, sir.
How much did you get?
So 176.
170?
6.
176?
Yes, sir.
That's a very good score. Who was the chairman?
Thank you, sir. So Miss Sujata ma'am.
Oh, Sujata. She has retired now.
Yes.
Anyway, but you still couldn't get any service?
So I performed quite poorly in one of the optional exams.
Oh dear. But even then you missed it by how many marks?
So 18 marks.
Oh, 18. But your optional is the same?
Yes, sir.
Acha. You did poorly in which subject? Your optional?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Acha. I'm sure this time you'll make it. Now, tell me, is Sonipat a part of NCR?
Yes, sir.
It is.
Yes, sir.
Has it really benefited? What is this whole halla about NCR? I think virtually half of Haryana is in NCR, I think.
Yes.
Almost half, at least maybe more than half of the districts of Haryana.
So 14 districts of
14
Haryana.
out of?
22.
Out of 22, 14 are already
Yes.
in NCR.
Yes.
I'm really wondering why this craze for being included in the NCR. Has it really benefited?
Yes, sir.
Or is it just a tag? Oh, we belong to NCR.
So there are certain benefits
tell me,
associated
tell
with
me.
being part of NCR. So one is that the investment increases. So the loans become cheaper for various development projects, and so that connectivity has improved a lot.
It's because of NCR.
So of being part in NCR because of
Really? I didn't know that. In what way? The metro has been extended to Sonipat.
no, sir. Sir, so since it's part of NCR, so a lot of funds come and they are for improving the connectivity. So via roads and via railways. So improvement
Funds
in
come
that.
from where?
Sir, I'll have to check. I'm sorry, sir.
No, when you get a fund, you should know the source also, no?
Yes, sir.
Eh?
Yes,
Without the source, how can funds come?
Sir, I'll read up on
No,
that.
but
Sir.
what I was thinking was, because it's part of the NCR, probably the property value goes up
Yes, sir.
psychologically. You know, whether one really benefits or not, one will feel, oh, I'm part of the NCR. Things may be better, more, infrastructure may be better. That sort of feeling one gets.
Also, it has real estate prices, they indeed have
So
increased.
it may be more apparent than real. Do you
yes.
get my point?
Yes.
More apparent than real. So, given that, anyway, but Sonipat, are you getting AIMS also in Sonipat?
Sir, I'll have
No.
to see. I'm sorry, sir.
One AIMS is coming up in Haryana. Where?
Oh, so I'm not sure, sir.
You are not
I'm sorry,
aware.
sir.
Okay, tell me, what is the sex ratio in Haryana
Yes, sir.
today? I mean, today means recent time.
Yes, sir. So the National Family Health Survey 5th, it has stated that the sex ratio in Haryana has improved from by 57 points, sex ratio at birth, from 836 to 893.
890.
893, sir.
890, oh, that's very good. But otherwise, I mean, we read in the paper and all, people also tell us that, girls from Northeast and even far back as Kerala, they are getting married to Haryana boys. Is it a fact?
So there is some truth to this statement because sex ratio is poor, so brides have to be brought in from outside, and mostly they come from states like Jharkhand and Bihar.
Oh, Jharkhand also.
Yes.
But tell me, in another, say, 20 years, what will be the sociological implication of this?
Yes. So one impact would be that the brides, they will have to be brought from outside. The second would be increase in crimes against women. And so I was reading one article where they say, where it was written that a situation like one woman having 2 or 3 husbands might also become common in Haryana.
Oh. So we'll have more Draupadis.
So it was written in that way only that we will be having more Draupadis.
More Draupadis.
Yes.
Okay. Now, but the Haryana girls are doing very well
Yes.
at the same time. How come? What is the secret, especially in sports?
Yes, sir. So there are multiple reasons. So one is coming from progressive families. So the movie Dangal has also shown that when parents, they want their daughters to do well, they leave no stone unturned to ensure that the girls are doing well. And so even girls have been working very hard. So I was watching a video in which there is a village called Mokhra in Rohtak, and before 2016, girls were not allowed in the akhadas, and if they would enter, the administrators, they would light an incense stick. But after Miss Sakshi Malik, she won the bronze. So the girls started demanding that they also be given training. And the Akhada administrators, they were not ready. Then the parents started going that please teach our daughters. And so today, the Akhadas in that village, they have more girls as compared to boys.
Oh.
So initiative of girls. Is it? So, sir, it has been, and so initiatives of government have also played a huge role. So the various schemes and so leveraging the achievements, making successful women as brand ambassadors. So that has also played a very huge role.
Very good.
Thank you,
Recently, government of Haryana had announced, I don't know whether they implemented, that 50% of the jobs, 50 or 75% of the jobs will be for Haryana, I mean people from Haryana only. 75 is it?
Yes.
70%.
My God, 70%. So that's quite a number. Now what do you think of this? Is it a very healthy trend or
Yes.
it's something inevitable or what do you think?
Yes. So there are certain downsides to this step. So one is that it violates. It may not. Uphold the test of constitutionality on the grounds that it violates Article 15, 16, and 19. So under Article 16, it said that only the government, the central government, could come up with laws, and that too in public sector. But here, state government has come up with a law based on domicile, and both for public as well as private sector. And so it will also create a feeling of us versus them, and it could go against the vision of ease of doing business, improving ease of doing business. So, sir, the solution has to be as to why people of Haryana are not getting jobs. So we have to create more jobs and skill the people of the state, so that they are also able to get jobs on their
but
merit.
the danger is once Haryana does it, tomorrow Rajasthan may also do.
Yes, sir. So that's also a
And
downside.
then
Thank you, sir.
Punjab is there again, they may also do.
Yes, sir.
And so it might spread, So,
Yes, sir.
Anyway, that's something. Adit, tell me, you did a pharmacy from BITS Pilani
Yes, sir.
and information system. How come? Pharmacy and information system. That's
So
something.
BITS,
Oh,
yes,
great.
sir.
How is it? What exactly it is? What are the subjects you study?
Yes, sir. So actually, these are two different degrees,
Yeah.
completely different.
Totally very different.
So
I
BITS
thought.
Pilani gives us that flexibility to be able to do 2 degrees depending on our interest, and if we are able to get a good GPA. So initially, I got pharmacy because of my BITSAT score. I wanted to go to BITS. My sister was already studying there, and I wanted to have information systems because I always wanted to learn computer science. So sir, that was the reason, and I had a good GPA, so BITS allowed me to pursue another degree.
Very good. Now, between
Thank you,
the
sir.
two, pharmacy and information system,
Yes, sir.
which one is you are more comfortable with?
So pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Yes, sir.
Oh, very good.
Thank you, sir.
Now, tell me, we have so many MBBS floating around from Ukraine and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
But when it comes to pharmacy, we don't have that many qualified people. And that's a real demand. But still, some of people don't get into pharmacy. Why?
Yes, sir. So actually, one of the reasons is a lot of students who pursue pharmacy, they go to other countries like the United States because of better infrastructure there. So also salaries in India for students pursuing higher studies in pharmacy are quite low. So that is also one of the factors that discourages
Tell
them
me,
from
what is the
pursuing.
primary function of a pharmacist?
Yes.
What is the primary, most important function?
So drug discovery.
Huh?
So drug discovery.
Yeah, it does. So, but in India, even people without a degree, without licensing, they open a shop and they call themselves pharmacists. Give all sorts of medicine and all that.
Yes.
Okay, and IT, you are comfortable, information systems.
Yes, sir.
So you are familiar with cloud computing, net neutrality and all that?
So
Very good. Just define briefly what is net neutrality.
Yes, sir. So net neutrality, it refers to the fact that the internet, it treats every website fairly. So the issue got raised in 2014 when Facebook was given preferential treatment. So that's all I know about net
Okay,
neutrality.
last question on 5G. What is this 5G business?
Yes, sir. So it's the latest generation in cellular networks. And so the issue is with respect to the Huawei company, which was not allowed to take part in 5G trials. And so the other news is regarding that the spectrum auction is going to take place, and we may have 5G operational by the end of this year.
Very good. But tell me, are we really in a position to absorb 5G? What is the status of 4G today?
Sir, I'll have to check. I'm sorry, sir.
You have to check up.
Yes.
Okay. When is your interview?
Sir, on 12th of May.
12th of May. You have some time. Very good. We'll tell you more later.
Yes.
Okay, Garima, what does Garima mean?
So it means pride and dignity.
Okay, good. So, your parents. Anyway, related with the IPR issues.
Yes.
What were the IPR issues involved related with vaccine? The matters were raised in WTO also. What was that issue?
Yes, sir. So India, along with South Africa, in October 2020, we asked for a IPR waiver on vaccines to ensure vaccine equity. So that was the issue. And developed countries, they were opposing this. And recently, a draft waiver has come up in the WTO.
Why were they opposing?
Yes, sir. So the stated reason was that even if they share the technique, the developed countries may not have the infrastructure to be able to ensure that vaccines are safe. So since mRNA vaccines, they require cold refrigeration, so those facilities may not be available. But so the actual reason which has been stated by experts is because of the money aspect.
Okay, what do you mean by messenger RNA vaccine?
Yes, sir. So the messenger RNA vaccines, so they inject mRNA manufactured in labs, and so when it gets injected in the body, it creates spike proteins, and so those spike proteins, they evoke an immune response in the body, leading to the creation of antibodies.
Okay, RT-PCR is a confirmatory test for COVID-19. So what RT-PCR stands for?
So it stands for reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction.
What do you mean by reverse transcriptase?
Yes, sir. So the swabs which are taken from our body of the virus, so they contain mRNA. So reverse transcriptase process takes place. So it's converted.
Is reverse transcriptase a process?
Sir, I'll have to check.
Reverse transcriptase is an enzyme which is responsible for reverse transcription.
Thank you, sir.
So who discovered reverse transcriptase about 5-6 decades back?
I'm sorry, sir. I'll have to see.
They got Nobel Prize, Taman and Baltimore.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now coming to another field related with Haryana.
Yes.
So there are so many sports persons, both men and women, who have made us proud during, say, past about 8 to 10 years. Can you name some? Men as well as women.
Yes, sir. So regarding women, Sir Fogart sisters, Miss Geeta Fogart, Babita Fogart, Miss Sakshi Malik. So regarding men, so Mr. Neeraj.
Some more. Tell me more. This is not enough. So many. There are so many. So you have told me only 2.
Yes. So Miss Anshu Malik.
Okay.
So Miss Sona Malik is there. So Miss Seema Antil. So Miss Neha Goyal. She represented India.
Yeah. Even better than that. Who have earned name.
So I'm able to recall only these names.
Abu Bakar. Who is Abu Bakar, by the way?
Sir, I'll have to see.
A girl from Jhunjhunu.
I'll have to see, sir.
Not Jhunjhunu. Girl from Jhajjar.
I'll have to check, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Shefali Verma from Rohtak. What for?
I'm sorry, sir.
Women cricketer. She has broken the record of even Sachin Tendulkar's 30 years record. She has broken
Thank you, sir.
at the age of 15 only. Shefali Verma, cricketer. Anyway,
Yes.
now come to some other field.
Yes.
So, related with the computer science, information technology. What is 3D printing?
Yes, sir. Sir, 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing. So, it creates products, and a template is given in the software. So that's.
Which is the biggest 3D printed building of the world?
Sir, I'll have to see. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, no problem. Are you aware of this metro and all that? Because frequently you are coming to Delhi, and do you have any idea about the metros? Metro Phase 4
No, sir.
is going to be taken up. Anyway, in Metro Phase 4,
Yes, sir.
we are going to use Internet of Things. So what for could it be? Even if you have not read, so what for Internet of Things can be utilized in Metro Phase 4?
Yes, sir. So Internet of Things, it's a system of interconnected networks or devices. So one possible application could be of consuming of checking the data that the travelers, they are coming at this time, and the frequency of the how many at what time is the maximum usage. So one could be that. So second could be energy efficiency. So if we put in panels, and at a particular time, if there are no passengers, then they would automatically switch off. So in that way, it could help in saving energy.
Okay, are you aware of EMU and DMU trains? Have you ever heard?
No, sir.
EMU, electric multiple units, diesel multiple units.
I'm sorry, sir.
Are you aware of the fact that Indian Railways is going to convert one of the trains into hydrogen train?
No, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
It will be a pilot project, and in your state only.
I'll read up on that, sir.
Anyway, related with women empowerment,
Yes.
there are so many schemes, there are so many legislative measures which have been taken up by the central government to empower women.
Yes, sir.
So, can you tell me some of the schemes, centrally sponsored schemes these could be, and the legislative measures which have been taken
Yes,
during
sir.
the past few years or decades, we can say?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
So regarding education, it was regarding education and improving sex ratio. It was Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao.
Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, yeah, just name them, huh?
Yes, sir.
Not
So-
in detail.
So the POSH Act, Prevention of Sexual
That's
Harassment.
right, good enough. Yeah.
So Domestic Violence Act.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana.
That's right.
So Maternity Benefit Act.
Mm-hmm.
So then Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So health. So Sir, Ma Abhiyan was also there.
Ma?
Sir, mother's absolute affection.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
In Hindi, we call it.
So
Anyway.
Lakshya initiative.
Yeah,
for
right.
it.
What else? Good.
So security, regarding security wise, so the amendment to Juvenile Justice Act was
Okay.
there. So then,
So you have mixed both the schemes as well as the legislative measures.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, no problem at all. What about Triple Talaq Act?
yes, so decriminalization.
So
criminalization.
what is the name of the act? It relates with Triple Talaq, but it is not Triple Talaq Act. It is something else.
So it was something related to marriage. I'll have
The
to
Muslim
check.
Women
Protection.
Right to Protection on Marriage Act.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, what about abrogation of Article 35A?
So
Can you
regarding
recall?
regarding Jammu Kashmir issue.
And since I was talking about the decades, measures taken up in last few decades, so could it be related with 33% reservation
Yes.
for women at local level?
Yes, sir. 73rd and 74th.
73rd and
74th Amendment Constitution.
when these came into force?
So 1992. So most,
1992 Act and came into force in 1993 on which date?
I'm sorry, sir.
And on that very date, our Prime Minister was in Jammu and Kashmir, and it was for the first time that after abrogation of Article 370, he was in Jammu and Kashmir.
So
Which was that day?
So 23rd or 24th of April.
It was 24th of April. We celebrate is National Panchayat Day.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Ji. Thank you, sir.
National Panchayat Day. So, how many constitutional posts women are holding nowadays? Can you recall any?
So I'll take some seconds.
Yeah. Approximate idea.
So approximately, so there are 14% of women MPs. So we have, so that will be.
So whatever constitutional posts they are holding, could it be in tens, hundreds, thousands, lakhs?
So maybe in less than 100.
If I say that these are in lakhs, then would you agree with me? And now you think over it that they are holding in lakhs.
Yes, sir.
Constitutional posts in lakhs.
At local level.
At local level, those are the constitutional posts. Those are the local bodies.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
So my last question.
Yes, sir.
One more or no?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay,
sir.
one more. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas.
Yes.
It is only just a slogan. What is your take on it? Our Honorable Prime Minister says like that. Now you will tell me how Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and how you can say that Sabka Vishwas is also there. How can you justify that?
Yes.
Start from the very beginning. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Then we will come to Sabka Vishwas. That whether at all Sabka Vishwas is there or it is just like a slogan.
Yes,
Please go ahead.
So it's regarding to inclusive growth. And
That's right. Inclusive growth.
Yes, sir. And so when we say Sabka Saath.
Okay. So now related with this only, as you have said, rightly said, inclusive growth.
Yes, sir.
So basic services to all. So what are those basic services? Start from the very beginning. From the number one is this one. Number two, in order of priority, you will tell me. So to make available basic services to all. So starting from now, go ahead.
So basic services could be food. So under Narega.
Okay, food.
So then housing, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana.
Pradhan Mantri Housing.
So toilets.
Food, housing.
So toilets.
Okay, so what can we say? Sanitation.
Sanitation and drinking water.
Ek kadam swachhta ki or.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
Sanitation, toilets, then drinking water. Drinking water.
Yeah.
So then
Har Ghar Jal,
yes, sir.
Jal Jeevan Mission.
Yes,
okay, what else?
So then regarding for differently abled citizens, sir, Sugamya Pustakalayas are there.
Okay, that is there in order of priority again. What about
sir.
Banking?
Yes, sir, financial inclusion. Yes,
financial
sir.
inclusion.
So Jan Dhan accounts. Thank you, sir.
Jan Dhan account. So what is that? Trinity?
Jam
Trinity?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
So
Trinity?
Sorry, sir. So Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity.
That's right. So that is also very important. Banking. So
yes,
in whatever you have said, banking you have said, food, you have said about drinking water, about sanitation, about housing,
yes,
and
sir.
there are some others also, but
yes.
it's good enough. Now, coming to that very part, later part, whether
Yes,
at all, how can you say that Sabka Vishwas is there?
Yes, sir.
On what basis you can say that that is also there? How that is proved?
So we can say that if Sabka Vikas is if Sabka Vishwas is there, then if there's an improvement in representativeness at
that's right.
in education, in employment, in
what
holding,
else? How that is reflected? Think more about it.
Sir, IMR, MMR could be there. Then, sir, HTI we can come up with. So manuals.
Sabka Vishwas. How can you justify it? Sabka Vishwas.
So by looking at the statistics,
pre-incumbency wave was there. They are being re-elected,
yes,
whether in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. So on that very basis, we can say that Sabka Vishwas is also reflected.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Garima,
Yes, sir.
It is written over here that you've taken political science and international relations.
Yes, sir.
So if I ask you, can you tell me recent development in the Middle East region with regard to Israel?
Yes, sir.
What are those developments?
Yes,
Say
sir.
over a period of 1 year or so. There
Yes, sir.
have been certain important developments.
Yes, sir.
Ah.
So regarding the Abraham Accords, sir,
Ah.
a number of nations have been trying to normalize relations with Israel. So most recently, the Israeli Prime Minister, I'm sorry, sir, it was either Prime Minister or President. He visited Turkey during the festival in which they usually do not go outside. So one is there, sir. Other nations, sir, recently also a visit between the heads took place between Israel and UAE. So the nations are trying to improve their relations with Israel. So that
What
is
Israel has done in UAE?
yes, sir.
What they have done there?
So they are talking about increasing investments in the United Arab Emirates. There is going to be direct flights connecting both the countries, and the UAE is going to learn from Israel's prowess in agriculture and in water management. So that's all I'm able to recall.
How many Arab countries Israel has opened up its embassies?
Sir, I'll have to check. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay. At the same time, there have been a lot of, what I should say, lot of developments in Saudi Arabia. At the same time, what are those developments?
Yes, sir. So one development was regarding women. So the women have been allowed to drive and to travel without a male accompanying them. So the other is the country is trying to diversify and to move from oil, and they are creating a city where, which is vision of the present prince. So they are bringing in a lot of
present prince over there?
Mr. Mohammed bin Salman. So,
Okay.
so that is the second development. And so recently we saw that the issue of Saudi Arabia and Turkey over the killing of Mr. Jamal Khashoggi. So, the Turkish president, he's visiting Mr. Recep Erdogan. He's visiting Saudi Arabia to normalize ties, which had gotten hurt for the past 3-4 years. So over this issue.
What is the traditional rivalry between Turkish people and Saudi Arabia people?
So the rivalry is regarding who will be considered as leader of the Arabic world.
What is the term known as for that thing?
I'm sorry, sir.
What is the term for the leader of the Arab world? There's a specific term then.
So Khalifa.
Khalifa, you are right, Khalifa. One thing, why this Middle East? I think there is one country in the Middle East which is spending some money in Jammu Kashmir also nowadays, no?
Yes, sir.
Some MOU have been signed.
Yes.
Which are those countries, or which is that country rather?
So the United Arab Emirates.
Okay. So, why it is spending now? Because earlier the situation was not that conducive. Why they are spending now?
Yes, sir. So after the abrogation of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir and the fact that army is there, so the concerns regarding safety and security, they have lessened, and even the government has been inviting and giving SOPs and incentives. And recently we also entered into an FTA with the UAE government. So that's why they are very open to making investments in Jammu and Kashmir.
Which are the other countries where we have entered FTA besides UAE?
So most recently it was Australia, and there are talks of conclusion of FTAs with the United Kingdom and EU by the end of 2024.
By 2024?
With EU 2024.
But with Britain, with the United Kingdom?
So by Diwali they are saying
by Diwali they are saying that we will enter into an agreement with them. No?
Yes.
That is there. Okay, that's good. Now, this internationally, what do you think that India position now? What is the Indian position now internationally as far as all these policies and programs are concerned? What do you think? Where India stands now?
Yes, sir. So in the past few years, India's standing has improved a lot. So we can see that in the flurry of visits that we have seen recently, almost every day we are seeing some visits by foreign ministers or by the heads of the government or heads of state. So Mr. Modi is going to visit the countries of Germany, France, and the Nordic countries, Denmark. He's going to go there for the second Indo-Nordic summit. Initially, Nordic countries were not as comfortable with maintaining relations with India, but now they are inviting, encouraging such investments. And so there was this news that India is the only second country with which Nordic countries have a summit type relationship apart from the US. So India's standing has improved a lot, but there are certain challenges also. So one is regarding the Chinese aggression, and so the instability increasing in our neighborhood, which prevents India from becoming the true power that it can. So those are certain.
Has that affected our passport index also?
Sir, I'll have to check.
Huh?
I'm sorry, sir, I'll have to check.
Okay. Okay. You are from Haryana or that area, so there we, we worship God and goddesses, Lord Krishna, Lord Rama.
Yes, sir.
Now, in that context, there is a word in Hindi, the Nirakarupasana, and one is Sakarupasana.
Yes, sir.
What is Nirakarupasana and what is Sakarupasana?
So I'm not very sure. Could I take a guess, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, Nirakar is without any tangible form. So, and sir, Sakar is when we worship idols. So there is a form in front of us. So, sir, that's all I can talk
in
about.
Hindu system, in the Hindu system or our Hindu way of living, which is the older one, Nirakar or Sakar?
Sir, I'm not sure.
You're not sure about it. Okay. Now, one thing is about Haryana. It's an agriculture area basically.
Yes,
So,
sir.
are you satisfied with the wheat and paddy of Haryana, or do you require some diversification of the crop? If so, why?
Yes, sir. So it's said that Haryana has been a major contributor of rice and wheat, and thus ensuring India's food security. But sir, at the same time, we have been facing the challenges of declining groundwater table. So the soil fertility has also come down due to rampant use of chemical fertilizers. And so the prices also, they take a hit when a lot of rice and wheat are produced. And the MSP also costs government a lot of fiscal expenditure. So there is a need to diversify, and that could also create new employment opportunities, especially in the food processing sector.
If we diversify, then what are the sectors where we should go for in agriculture?
Yes, sir. So one could be fruits and vegetables. So second is, although it's said that Sonipat is the highest mushroom cultivator, so the whole state can adopt that. So then the hardy and drought-resistant crops like jawar, ragi, bajra, and so people are becoming more conscious of these nutraceuticals.
Okay.
So there's a huge scope.
Okay.
So these are certain
So
areas.
in case of fruits and vegetable, what is the most important impediments that we are not able to do that?
Yes, sir.
What is the important impediment in that?
So the most important issue is regarding perishability and the lack of the infrastructure like cold chain and freezers. So sir, we do not have enough quantity of those. So that's why a lot of food gets wasted.
Okay. So in that context, government has done does this current government has done something in that context for perishable goods, etc.?
Yes, sir. So one is the Sampada Yojana, in which they are trying to create food processing industries. And the second is in the budget 2-3 years ago, they announced Krishi Udan and Kisan Rail, so that perishable goods can be transported very fast.
Very fast there.
Yes.
Okay, my last question is, why Elon Musk is news nowadays?
Yes, sir. So there are so mostly it's because of the acquisition of Twitter, and sir, day before yesterday, the Starlink company, which is owned by Mr. Mr. Elon Musk. So it has launched certain missiles for the NASA.
For the NASA.
Yes.
Now, then why Elon Musk is in controversy now? Why?
So regarding acquisition of Twitter.
Acquisition of Twitter is a very normal activity, you know.
Yes, sir. So one is that he's overpaying. So the worth of the company is around $36 billion.
Okay.
And it's he's paying 44, and he's saying that he's going to make it a platform of actually free speech with no moderation. So and it's going to be completely privately owned. So the regulator, it'll be beyond the regulatory regime of the regulators in the United States.
In your opinion, does it have something to do with the ideology or no?
So although Mr. Musk, he says that he's a propounder of free speech, but he has not, and he's quite liberal in his ideology. But I think it's more about the economic aspect, because it's said that Twitter can generate a lot of revenue if leveraged properly, and there are a lot of avenues that Mr. Musk has talked about, and on the basis of that he has raised that money from loans. So I think it's more of the economic aspect.
Economic. You think that is more of the economy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
So Garima,
Yes, sir.
recently the election took place in France.
Yes, sir.
So what is the outcome of that election?
Yes, sir. So Mr. Emmanuel Macron, he won the presidential election again, so defeating the candidate Miss Marine Le Pen.
Why in the history, in the last 40 years, nobody
Yes,
is able to repeat for the second time? So what are the various factors which led him
Yes, sir.
for the victory?
So one reason was that Miss Le Pen had very extreme views. She is said to belong to the ideology of far right. So one reason was that, and she is anti-market and anti-globalization, and she was saying, and she's also said to be Eurosceptic. So people of France at this moment do not want to be out of EU, and their businesses are going to hit. I was watching a video in which they were saying that France is the fashion capital, and if Miss Le Pen comes, then the business houses are going to take a big hit. So economic reasons were there, and so then the second reason was Mr. Macron's centrist approach is also something which provides the best alternative amongst the four candidates that were there, and there were protests also that they were saying that we want more options in the candidates, because they had no other options. So that's why the third reason was that Mr. Macron was elected.
In the near future, we are also going to have the election for the presidential election.
Yes.
So what is the system in India?
Yes, sir. So it's proportional representation through a single transferable vote. So the president is elected through an electoral college. So consisting of the elected MPs and elected MLAs from the states, and the elected representatives from the union territories of Pondicherry and Delhi.
What is this proportionate representation?
Yes, sir. So proportional representation means that the parties that have seats, so they are going to be able to have their say, that proportionate say in the election of the president.
Something with the population or?
Yes, sir. So proportional representation. So how much votes they are able to get. So in that context.
Yesterday there was a conference of the judicial
Yes,
conference, and the Chief Justice of the country also said that we require more infrastructure and the legislation should be clear.
Yes, sir.
So what is that legislation is not clear? Say 5 points.
Yes, sir. So one is regarding the separation of powers. So there is no clarity as to when we can see a judicial activism or judicial overreach. So, sir, articles like Article 142, which gives Supreme Court the power, higher judiciary the power to do complete justice. So one, that creates a problem. So second one is Article 136, in which specially petitions can be entertained. And so I'm not able to think
Okay.
others.
Our Honorable Prime Minister said that beside legislation, we should have the legislation for the local language also, so that the public can understand.
Yes, sir.
So what is this?
Yes, sir. So the PM said that the judgments, they should be accessible in local languages so that the common man could also understand. Not everyone is able to understand English, in which the judgments are presently given. So it would enhance access to justice and would also reduce pendency, because people would be able to better understand the judgments that are given.
As you have said for Elon Musk, freedom of speech and expression.
Yes, sir.
What is the condition in our constitution?
The Article 19, Clause 2, it talks about several reasonable restrictions on right to freedom of speech and expression. So these are contempt of court, ensuring sovereignty and territorial integrity, contempt. So public morality. So then we have ensuring friendly relations with other nations. And so that's all I'm able to recall.
But recently we have seen certain incidents regarding the sedition law for the sedition, that Mr. Mewani from Gujarat,
Yes,
he has
sir.
been booked in Assam, Mr. Kumar has been booked in Punjab. And so what is this? It has never happened in the history of the country. So what is your opinion about it?
So these instances show the abuse of the present legislations, which are there to ensure that any speech, words, or actions are not adopted by people to create disaffection against the government. So sedition law was for that, but because there is the proper implementation is not there and proper guidelines are not there, and so that's why it's being misused in certain instances.
It was misused during the independence era also, pre-independence
Yes, sir.
era, when Mr. Gandhi
Yes,
and
sir.
Mr. Gokhale, they were also booked.
Yes, sir.
And now the same thing is being repeated, that in Assam, in Punjab, they have been booked.
Yes, sir.
So should we repeal this sedition law? Or?
So I think it should be there, but at the same time, there has to be certain safeguards which ensure that people are not harassed for talking against the government of the day. So the judiciary could come up with certain guidelines, and strict action could be taken against the officials who arrest such persons. So that could be there, because any law has a possibility of misuse. It's those who implement the laws. So they have to restrain themselves and uphold the spirit of the law rather than using it for a particular purpose.
So we know the 7 sisters or 8 sisters.
Yes, sir.
7 or 8?
So although it's 7, but Sikkim is also sometimes included.
So can you name all those sisters?
Yes, sir. So it's Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Sikkim.
And what are the bordering international borders
Yes, sir.
regarding?
With respect to Arunachal Pradesh, it's China, Myanmar, Bhutan. So with respect to Sikkim, it's China, Nepal, Bhutan. So with respect to Assam, Bangladesh is there. Then Bhutan is there. So then southwards with Nagaland, Myanmar is there. With Manipur, again Myanmar. So with Tripura, Bangladesh and Myanmar is there, and with Meghalaya, it's Bangladesh.
When was the Sikkim became the part of the country?
So it was in 1976.
1976.
Yes, sir.
And if you say the Haryana was formed from Punjab, so how the formation of the states procedure?
Yes, sir. Sir, although there is no set procedure, because after the independence, we saw state reorganization on the basis of linguistic grounds. Then in 70s and 80s, we saw it on the grounds of ethnicity. And sir, in 2000, we saw it on the grounds of administrative convenience, when Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Uttarakhand were created. Even Telangana's creation was on the basis of administrative convenience. So. These are certain grounds, sir.
During pre-independence, we had this Montemirlo
Yes, sir.
reforms.
Yes.
What were the reforms?
Yes, sir. So they were introduced in 1909, and so the main point was regarding separate electorates for one particular community. Sir, I'm not able to recall the other nuances of the particular act.
And this also have the relationship with the Arabian countries.
I'm sorry, sir.
At that time, some movement took place. What was that movement? During First World War.
Sir, the Khilafat movement.
And what was this? And its impact on Indian scenario?
Yes. So it was regarding the disintegration of the Ottoman Empire after the Treaty of Sevres, after the conclusion of World War I. And so the Khilafat movement, which later joined with the non-cooperation movement, it was regarding ensuring that the Khalifa is given his due place by the Britishers.
Sonipat is a very historical place.
Yes, sir.
So, do we have some reference in mythology?
Yes, sir.
What is this?
So it was one of the 5 villages that was demanded by Pandavas in lieu of Hastinapur.
Good. And
Thank you, sir.
Some relationship with the capital of the country.
So one is regarding in N.A. Akbari, Mr. Abul Fazal has said that Sonipat was a pargana under Delhi Sarkar. So that is the relation I can think of.
And it was also a tehsil of the New Delhi.
Thank you, sir.
Then it was separated, it was included, then it was...
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Oh, thanks. Garima, you are very good. Your interview is on 12th.
Yes, sir.
You have about 10 days.
Yes, sir.
So, read about what papers are you reading? Newspaper?
So Live Mint and Indian Express.
Indian Express, very good. Read one economic daily. Mint I will recommend.
So
it
Live
costs
Mint,
25 rupees.
So I am reading
You
Live
are
Mint
reading?
and Indian
You
Express.
didn't mention. Did you mention?
Yes,
I didn't
I did.
hear. Okay. Mint is very good.
Yes,
so
sir.
today, what does Mint talk about today?
So Sunday ko it does not come.
Yesterday?
So yesterday it talked about. So yesterday first 3 papers were about art, and so later on it was on coal production. Then a semicon summit took place, and the importance of semiconductor industry was there. So corona cases. So then so the talks regarding EU India FTA. What India wants. So one news was regarding that. Sir, I'm able to recall.
No, very good. You could remember most of the things. You can be little louder.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Because there will be 5 members in the board. So now that's good. You continue reading that.
Yes, sir.
Mint and Indian Express. And plus get hold of Yojana of March.
Yes, sir.
March issue. There's a special number on budget and economic survey.
Yes, sir.
It's a 4-page summary of economic survey, and there are 9 articles on budget. If you have time, read the articles. But
I'll try,
otherwise,
sir.
there's a little box in each article,
Yes, sir.
giving the gist, the main points, and in also some facts and figures, which
Yes.
in the budget normally one would expect. So read that 2 or 3 times and write down the figures. Then only
Yes,
it will register in your mind. Okay, especially on health, education, how much we are spending, and that's a good write-up by finance secretary on the deficit, etc. So what are the various concepts of deficits, etc.
Yes, sir.
On the economic survey, the GDP growth path, the K shape and all that. Okay, so have a look at those. And then now in Sonipat, I think industrially they are now doing badly. Am I right? Your Atlas industry is closed.
Yeah, it's
The Sonipat Atlas cycle was such
Yes.
a famous one. We are exporting also. Unfortunately, it is closed now. And also 1 or 2 other industries, somehow either closed or they are doing very badly.
So because of
What is
corona.
the reason?
So corona impact has been
Corona
there.
to that extent,
And-
the other bicycles are doing well.
So
I
regarding
don't know. Maybe they didn't
Atlas-
go in for new models because nowadays bicycle is no more a bicycle.
Yes, sir.
It's power driven and gear and whatnot.
So regarding Atlas, it was a feud within the family.
Oh,
so that's why
family.
it
That's
got
a
closed
sad
down.
thing,
Yes, sir.
That's sad. Which family was that?
So Jain or so Agarwal community was there, so I'm not able to
Okay,
recall
that's
the
very
exact
sad. You know,
family.
this is what happens with the family-driven things. Okay, now you have opted for foreign service, number 2 or 3?
So third.
Third. Anyway, but still you should know. Now I'm glad Nordic. Acha, from your biodata, it's remarkable. You have been to Denmark. When
Yes,
was
sir.
that?
So in 2016.
Okay. But tell me something unique about Denmark.
Yes, sir.
Well, once only I went. What is unique
So the
compared to India? Huh?
biking culture.
Bicycle. Everybody going on a bicycle. Beautiful.
Yes.
Track, everything. It's so nice, no?
Yes,
to
sir.
see hundreds of people going on a bicycle.
special
Here,
lanes.
hundreds of cars. You can't even cross the road. Where is the question of bicycle?
Yes, sir.
Even though every now and then we talk of special track for bicycle. Is it
Yes.
feasible in a place like Delhi?
So it can be, but we will have to take certain measures. So
You
first,
should put barricades.
So
हाँ,
parking
दोनों side,
space.
so that no cars or scooter can come.
Yes, sir.
Like a sheep, people will go.
So dedicated parking spaces have to be there, and encroachment on the paths have to be removed.
You know, I don't know. Even in Cambridge, I was there. All the professors, everybody goes on a bicycle. It's a university town. Only colleges are there. There's nothing else.
So my
There's
own
a tiny
professor-
industry there, but otherwise all
Yes, sir.
colleges. So it's so beautiful to see. Now
Yes,
you can't imagine Delhi or when we were in school, bicycle used to be common. You know, so that way Sonipat, the bicycle is a big loss. We were talking about Denmark, correct? And then he is going to PM is visiting Denmark.
sir.
Then which other 2 countries?
So France and Germany.
Yeah. So keep track of
Yes, sir.
whatever happens there, and his statements,
Sorry, sir.
etc.
Ji sir.
Achha,
Yes, sir.
then also you got a Lincoln scholarship also, University of Lincoln,
So Khurana scholarship.
Khurana. This is Hargobind Singh Khurana.
Yes,
Now
sir.
tell me about Hargobind Singh Khurana. You got that award.
Yes, sir.
Who was he, and he got Nobel Prize
Yes.
along with others for what subject?
Yes, sir. So he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1968 in
Yes.
medicine.
Yeah? Which year?
So 1968.
Check the year
So-
part of it. I'm not very
it,
sure. I
It
thought
is 1968.
anything.
What for?
So
subject.
for interpretation of genetic code.
Who are the other
Deciphering
2?
the genetic code. Interpretation is okay, but using the word deciphering the genetic code would be little
And who are
better.
the
With
other-
whom he shared Nobel
Yes,
Prize.
2 more.
Sir, I'm not able to recall the name. I'm
Look
sorry,
at
sir.
that.
Yes,
because-
sir.
Nirenberg and Holly.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, so you got the Khurana scholarship. You went
Yes.
to Lincoln. Tell me something about this place, Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
In which state it is?
Sir, Nebraska.
Huh?
Sir, Nebraska.
Huh. Good.
And so it's,
Okay, and also, of course, Ratan Tata scholarship for 3 years.
yes, sir.
So you should know Sir Ratan Tata. Is he a sir?
Yes, so
Sir Ratan Tata. Tell you know anything about him?
So he was a philanthropist and
Hmm.
a financier, and he was the son of Mr. Jamshedji Nusarwanji Tata.
We have a very good library in Delhi School of Economics. It's called Ratan Tata Library. He donated the money for that.
Yes,
Beautiful
sir.
library.
Education
Delhi School of
Trust.
Economics.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, you know what? The manner and the tenor of speaking is very good. Your
you, sir.
reaction is good. Once in a while, if you are not very comfortable, you can say, I don't know.
Yes,
you know, especially on the sports part of it, naming of this. Ajay, there was one thing when member asked you about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas.
Yes, sir.
Now, the last aspect of Vishwas, I want you to reflect. Recently, there's a controversy going on. Hundreds of retired bureaucrats,
Yes, sir.
IAS, Home Secretary, retired diplomats, they are written to PM. Huh?
Yes, sir.
And of course, there is another group. Yesterday, they
Yes,
have written a
there is a
letter.
letter, yes, sir.
Another group of foreign service IAS officers saying that this is not the way to really go about criticizing or holding PM responsible for all this sort of thing. So this controversy is on.
Yes.
So my limited question here is, should the
Sorry, sir.
government servants, you know, the moment they retire, they should change their stance, and otherwise they are supposed to be neutral
Yes.
and not criticize government policies. So don't you think we should have a policy by which, at least for cooling off, like 4 or 5 years, they should not say anything about the government policy? What is your reaction?
Yes, sir.
Don't you think it's necessary? Because yesterday's Home Secretary, if he criticized government today,
It's going to
it becomes very
raise-
difficult.
Yes, sir.
You follow?
Yes, sir.
Because we have a cooling off for other assignments. You know, immediately we can't just take certain assignments without the clearance from Government of India. If you hold a certain level of post, of course. So like that, don't you think there should be some under conduct rule that after for 2 years you will not criticize government policy? What do you think of this?
So it will, the positive aspect of it will be that there will be no criticism against the policies. But sir,
Yeah.
at the same time, so we first will be infringing on their fundamental right of speech. And
You
so
know,
second,
fundamental right, even now for cooling off is there, the concept is there for certain posts.
yes sir.
So
But
there
sir,
again you can say fundamental right. No, fundamental right beyond a point you can't stretch. You
so,
see,
but we can always take the constructive criticism if they have raised an issue. So instead of making it personal, we should look as to why they are saying it. Maybe the PM can't be blamed, but if they are, and there are a lot of people who are raising the issue, so the issue could be looked at without pointing fingers. So we can do
निंदक
that.
नियरे राखिए आंगन कोटी छवा. You understand the meaning of this?
No sir.
उसका सुनना चाहिए निंदक को. निंदक मीन्स जो उसको ये करता है,
yes,
क्रिटिसाइज
sir.
करता है. हो सकता है
हाँ.
उसकी बात सही भी हो, क्रिटिसिज्म एक्चुअली ना
वो
हो.
हाँ.
आप किसी के अगेंस्ट बोल रही हैं, कोई जरूरी नहीं कि उसमें वो कमी है ही.
Yes, sir.
हो सकता है आप उससे कोई
कुछ सीख
कंस्ट्रक्टिव
सकते
कोई
हैं.
चीज
Yes,
निकल
something
सके.
good might
तो
come out
सुनना
of it.
जरूर चाहिए.
Yes, sir.
है ना?
I
और
like,
whenever your frank whenever your opinion is asked,
Yeah.
कुछ भी गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी हो, आपको अपनी ओपिनियन देनी है.
Yes sir.
ठीक है
Yes.
ना?
Yes sir.
आपको अपनी देनी है, but that should be supported
But
with
there
facts and
also,
figures.
Yes.
the way you say your views is very important. You start off by prefacing it properly by saying, with my limited understanding of a
Yeah.
complex subject like this,
Hmm.
this is my humble opinion is this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You follow.
Yes sir.
The preface itself will take you long. And what you say is not that important. How you say is important. Remember, this is a personality test.
Yes,
This is
sir.
not a test of your knowledge. Okay.
I'll keep that in
So
mind,
how
sir.
you say is very important, especially if you want to join a foreign service. Be diplomatic.
Yes, sir.
Speak for 5 minutes, still nothing comes out. You know.
Yes.
So very good. Now I think we are taking a lot of it. Now the last thing I want to ask you, if you don't mind, personal.
Yes,
you will be wearing sari or a
Yes,
sal-
sir.
Huh? You'll
I'll be wearing a sari, sir.
Great. Yeah, I
Acha,
think I'll appreciate.
few
Anyway, that
things,
you can
huh?
consult people who really know. I don't
Yes.
know much.
Sir, I have
but anyway.
actually asked.
Last time you wore sari.
Yes, sir.
कंफर्टेबल है ना
Okay.
साड़ी के
Yes,
साथ?
sir.
No, she got 175 with that. So go ahead with that.
हाँ, नहीं कंफर्टेबल है तो साड़ी ही पहनना.
So,
हाँ,
sir,
compulsory-
actually, I've come from Sonipat, so it was a little difficult.
Okay.
to
Yeah,
come
that
in
is
a
very
sari.
important.
Okay, few points हैं.
Yes, sir.
पहले तो good points related with you.
Yes, sir.
आपका overall you are a very good candidate. There's no
Thank you,
doubt
Yeah,
about
no
it,
doubt
हैं?
you should be.
अब कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो कि वहाँ पे भी मेंटेन करनी है, लाइक
Yes, sir.
ऑनेस्टी. ऑनेस्टी कहाँ रिफ्लेक्ट
Yeah.
हो रही है? व्हेनेवर यू डोंट नो आंसर ऑफ एनी क्वेश्चन, यू सिंपली से दैट यू डोंट नो. ऐसा ही रखना है.
Yes, sir.
लेकिन इस चीज से लिंक्ड एक बात और, जब आप ऐसा कहते हैं कि आई डोंट नो, देयर मे बी फ्यू क्वेश्चंस अबाउट व्हिच यू माइट नॉट बी
Yes.
एनी नोइंग एनीथिंग, तो उसमें नहीं कहना, कोई उसमें गलत नहीं है, लेकिन वो भी उतने कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ ही कहो एज इफ इट इज आंसर ऑफ द क्वेश्चन.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.
तो उससे क्या होगा, कभी कभी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे आपको ये लगता है कि पता नहीं क्या पूछ देंगे, जबकि आप मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस में आप टू द पॉइंट थी. ऑलमोस्ट ऑल
Yeah, yeah.
टू द पॉइंट, इधर उधर का कुछ नहीं. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
और हर एक आंसर आपका ज़्यादातर आंसर ठीक ही थे, बहुत
Thank you,
अच्छे
sir.
थे. अब उसमें बिल्कुल भी घबराना नहीं है इस चीज़ से
Yes,
कि
sir.
पता नहीं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या पूछ देंगे, ये तो मैंने बता दिया. शायद आप ऐसा फील कर रही थी, मुझे ऐसा लगा.
English में बोलो. English.
Oh, you don't know.
Yeah,
So I can
her medium
understand
is
Hindi.
English, na?
No,
So,
she's from Haryana anyway. She can understand. No
no,
problem.
she can
There should not
understand.
be
but
any problem.
you see,
ठीक है ना?
practice
So
हो जाएगा ना
वो
English.
बात दूसरी थी, निंदक नियरे रखी हो.
So actually, I had heard of it, but I was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
able to recall it.
Anyway, वो कोई बात नहीं, वो तो ऐसे
तो
ही है. था. So what I was saying was that I was talking about. So even if you are not able to answer few questions, then there is
It
no
doesn't
problem
matter.
at all.
Yes, yes.
ठीक है? और related with that very question, a sports person from Haryana during past 8 to 10 years.
Sir, I'll read up more on
Sushil
that.
Kumar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is Sushil Kumar?
Sir, wrestler who is presently in the Tihar jail.
या तिहाड़ जेल तो बाद में आएगा, वो तो नेगेटिव पॉइंट हो गया.
Yes.
Anyway, so
Second.
what for?
So for allegedly killing of
No,
Mr.
no, no, no.
Sagar.
वो तो ठीक है, वो तो ठीक कह रही
So
हैं.
achievements. Okay.
Achievements, yeah.
So two-time Olympic
Yeah.
medalist.
That's right. So there is only one man
Yeah.
from Haryana, and there only one woman, not from Haryana, but from other
Yeah.
place. Who is she?
So Miss PV Sindhu.
Yeah, PV Sindhu. So there are only 2 persons who have won Olympic Games medal twice.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, यू आर अ वेरी गुड कैंडिडेट
Yeah,
और
yeah,
अच्छे
thank
से
you.
वहाँ पे करना है और इस बारी निकलना है
Yes,
इन
yes.
प्रॉपर IAS.
Yes, sir.
Not no second choice.
Sir,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll try
Okay,
my
all the
best.
best.
Thank you, sir.
And I just wanted to tell you that please, for these few, I think 1 week or so,
10 days, sir.
have concentration on the foreign minister of India.
Yes, sir.
What he has done, what he has spoken,
Yeah.
right, for last 10,
Very
15
important, yes.
days.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes,
Because your subject is international relation
sir.
and all that.
Yeah.
So have a deep concentration on S. Jaishankar,
Yes, sir.
his talks, his meetings, group meetings, and bilateral meetings. This is one aspect.
Yes.
And second aspect, India is paying a lot of attention as far as the climate is concerned.
Yes, sir.
So climate change plan and all that. So
Yeah.
have certain ideas about climate change. Go to websites of Ministry of Environment and Forest. Talk about and think about and read about climate change and all that. What are the recent things? What is going to happen? I think in May or June they are going to happen. They are meeting again in Germany. So all such type of things you must know. This
Yes.
climate aspect of India and this foreign relations, the foreign minister. So these two things, as far as your optional
Yes.
is concerned. So you may be asked a lot of questions on these two aspects, right?
I'll read
So
upon that, sir.
have a good preparation for this whatever
Yes,
days you left with. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
then otherwise,
Yeah, this is
sir
very
was telling
important.
you are extremely good. No
Yeah.
issue.
You go through the.
You'll come up with flying colors.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yes.
sir.
I'll
Ministry
try
of
my best, sir.
External Affairs handouts. Each meeting they give a handout.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it comes in this website. So go through that.
Yeah.
It's very important point. You want to?
All good wishes. Any
Thank you,
point from your side?
So yes, there was one point. So in one of the panels, actually people are giving their transcripts. So in one of
People are,
Huh,
what
what?
did you say?
so sharing their transcripts, the candidates
Okay.
who have already appeared in the interview.
Yeah.
So
Acha.
in Mr. Chaube's panel, he asks.
Chobe, which institute is this?
नहीं, चौबे means member.
So
Oh,
final.
Member in
member.
UPSC.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I mean chairman.
Yes, sir.
One of the
Holding one of the
chairman.
board.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Yes, sir. So he asks after the interview that we have asked whatever we wanted to ask.
Whether you
Do
want
you
to ask
want to
again.
share anything? So, sir, what is the idea behind that? Why do they ask? And so, what should we say?
देखिए उसमें डिफरेंट टाइप से वो कहते हैं, कभी कभी तो ये
Yes.
कहते हैं वी हैव आस्क्ड सो मेनी क्वेश्चन, वुड यू लाइक टू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन. कभी कभी इसी में
ये
डिफरेंट वो यूज करते हैं.
Yes.
तो उसमें आपका क्या होगा, इफ यू वांट टू आस्क एनीथिंग then your answer would be no sir, thank you very much, actually
That is the
I
best
enjoyed
way.
the conversation
Yeah.
with you, thank you very
That's-
much. अब आया दूसरा चीज, अब शेयर में क्या आप बताइए पहले. अगर शेयर वाला वर्ड वो यूज करेंगी तो व्हाट वुड यू लाइक टू से, वुड यू लाइक टू शेयर?
So, I would like to share the Mokhra village story that I
Huh?
shared, the Akhadas wali story, which I shared with you, or maybe
हाँ या
that the women were not allowed, but after.
ओके. हाँ, तो शेयर, अगर वो शेयर करने की कोई बात कह रहे हैं तो वो उसको मतलब दैट शुड नॉट एक्सीड 1 minute और
Yes,
1.5
all
minutes.
this,
आप
yes.
उसे बता सकती हैं, नहीं अच्छा है कि वीमेन वर
They work-
डिस्करेज टू कम
Correct.
इन द.
No, that's true.
So, one was that, and also one other idea is I want to create jobs for women. So, Haryana has this GI tag, Fulkari. So, it's a handicraft
Okay.
kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
if we are able to create a platform, if we skill women and if we arrange them in SHGs and create an online platform where they can make handicrafts, bags, and teach them everything, and then they can sell it in foreign countries also, because it's a premium product. So that is something.
शेयर वाला अगर वो कहें तो शेयर वाले में
हाँ,
आप जरूर बोल सकती हैं. यू कैन शेयर योर व्यूज, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम रिलेटेड विद दैट, बट वही है कि इट शुड नॉट एक्सीड
But-
मोर
Yes,
देन अ
sir.
मिनट ऑल्सो.
Yes. So,
वेरी
you know,
बी ब्रीफ.
in all this, try to be as brief as possible, and unless they ask you to the sharing part of it, otherwise you say you enjoyed.
So he's the only one who asks whether
Yeah.
we.
हाँ, नहीं पूछते हैं.
Yes.
They sometimes ask.
She also used to ask Sujata Mehta, I think. She
Yes,
also used
yes.
to ask. She started the trend.
नहीं
really.
ये ठीक है, ये अच्छा
Ma'am
पॉइंट
asked
है.
ये
last
point
year.
अच्छा है. अच्छा, one thing I wanted to ask you, I just forgot. It happens. What was that?
अच्छा, गैस
Anyway,
आपने कहा ना, कैन आई गैस, गैस कहने के बजाय ये कहें अगर ज़्यादा अच्छा है, सर दो आई एम नॉट वेरी मच श्योर, इट मे बी लाइक दिस। आपने जो भी गैस कहा, एक दो
Yes,
वर्ड यूज किया, लेकिन आपके दोनों सही थे वो।
Yes, sir.
तो गैस वर्ड यूज ना करें।
Okay, sir.
सर दो आई एम नॉट वेरी मच श्योर बट इट इज लाइक दिस, जैसे निराकार,
Yes,
सराकार,
sir.
आप वाला आंसर वो ठीक था,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
हैं, ठीक है, और गैस वर्क ही था, लेकिन दो आई एम नॉट वेरी मच श्योर सर, इट शुड बी, इट कैन बी लाइक दिस, साकार निराकार।
You know, yes, one
Yes.
thing which of course we won't go into now, that is this issue of Chandigarh.
Yes, sir.
Punjab is claiming that Chandigarh should be
Very important
I
Punjab.
question.
prepared
Now
all
here,
this.
suppose you are asked, views are asked, go into the history of it. When the
Yes, sir.
thing was formed, you know, Haryana was carved out of Punjab, what happened?
Yes, sir.
And what was the decision taken? You should remember that.
Yes, sir.
There were formal
Now-
communication by the central government to state
Yes.
of Haryana and
So
Punjab
that-
also.
Yes.
उस पंजाब को
Now-
कुछ इधर देना था,
Yes.
फजल का, अबोहर का
फजल
कुछ
का,
एरिया
वो
देना
नहीं
था,
हुआ।
वो
हाँ।
अपनी बात तो कर नहीं रहा देने
वही।
वाली, वो
वो
ये
सब
कर रहा है कि
मतलब-
नहीं, it should be given to us.
No, the point here is be factual.
Yes, sir.
And then the second thing, if they ask your personal, as a person from Haryana, what do you think?
Yes, sir.
Suppose they say, then you can say, sir, now so much time has elapsed,
Yeah.
and now the way Chandigarh has developed,
That's right.
perhaps it needs to be remain as a state
Yes,
by
sir.
itself or a union territory.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, this
Yeah.
is how put it in a very.
So that's
don't
what I-
take a say it should be given to
बिल्कुल।
Haryana
आप
or
facts
it should not
बताइए।
be given
Yes,
to
sir.
Punjab.
कि sir, it should remain a
they want to
UT.
see whether you can be provoked. You see, the
Yes, sir.
point is to provoke Haryana people saying Punjab मांग रहा है, क्या
Yeah.
बोल रहे हो?
Hmm.
You know, don't get provoked.
Yes, sir.
You say fact, and today what the reality is, and you say the best is status quo. Always
That's
remember, life में status quo is the best. MPC is the example.
ठीक चल
Monetary
रहा है, there is
Policy
no problem.
Committee.
Unnecessarily
It's
they
always
are raising
status
the
quo,
issue.
Yes, sir.
status quo,
Both can
status
have their own capitals,
Yeah.
and this could remain a UT.
Hmm.
You know,
So that's what I've thought of.
you know, on tricky issues, status quo is the best.
Yes, sir.
Remember. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
We hope to
All
see
the
you in the
best.
top 50
All
or
good
20
I hope so too,
list.
sir.
बहुत अच्छा
and-
कैंडिडेट है
Yes,
आप,
sir.
हैं,
Yes.
इसको
Yes, sir.
अच्छे से
Best.
प्रिपेयर और करिए,
Yes,
कोई
sir.
लिमिट
Good.
नहीं है ना,
Don't take
sky is
any
the
more
limit.
mock.
Yes, sir.
Read newspaper, you know, and the handouts of the External Affairs Ministry, etc.
Yes, sir.
If at all you are tempted to take one,
Sir, I
take
have one-
4-5 days before.
Sir,
Today,
I won. Yes, sir.
where in Vajirao and Reddy.
Yes, sir.
And that's
Okay.
a good one because I sit there also. Today I am here.
Okay, sir.
There Mr. Tayal will ask you on foreign questions.
Okay, sir.
So take note of that. He is
Yes.
very good on that. He was ambassador outside. So.
Yes, sir.
Good. But beyond that, don't
Yes,
take.
sir.
Read.
I will.
Believe in yourself. You will make it.
Nah, that's
Yes, sir.
man. Okay, all
Thank
good
you, sir.
wishes. Thank
Okay,
you.
all the
very much,
best.
sir. Thank you, sir.